Morning, Braveheart. Feeding pigs. These guys will just get food scraps this morning because I've got a whole bucket full. Good morning, piggies.
Good morning.
Get some water for these pigs from the creek.
Taking the goats out to the pasture. The goats have been cooped up off and on for a couple days because it's been really rainy, and I didn't want the babies out in the rain. Of course, these guys are only like 36 hours old, and I didn't want the babies out in the rain. But the next few days are going to be glorious and warm, and so it is time to let the mamas out and let the babies out, and everyone is very happy. I mean, imagine being cooped up. They are just so happy. How will I sell any of them?
I've got 2 garden goals this morning. I want to turn this compost pile and hopefully make an additional bed and get broccoli and cabbage in. I guess that's 3 or 4 if you count covering the cabbage with agribon. This compost pile has been really hot. Let's check its temperature inside, kind of down towards the middle right here. I checked it just the other day in the center and it was 150 degrees. That's the hottest compost pile I've ever had. There's a ton of nitrogen. This is really rich. It's cooled down though a little bit over the past few days. I was gonna go cook some food in it and then it was down at 130 when I last checked it. 100 just in the 1-teens. That heat will do a couple things for you. Those temperatures up in the 130s, 40s, 50s for a long period of time will get rid of most human pathogens. Those temperatures will also kill most weed seeds. The thing is though, the outside of the pile is not getting hot. The outside stays cool. So I'm gonna actually load the outside of the pile here, which will become the inside of the pile, and then take the rest of the bottom of the pile, load it on top. Turning your compost pile aerates the pile and it restarts the process of cooking a really hot pile. It also breaks up the clumps in the pile, and if you want to have fast compost, which I've actually never done, you got to turn the pile a bunch. So that's what we're doing. In our mountain location, we are still about a month out on the last frost date. So that's a month out from planting stuff like corn and tomatoes and green beans. And we're actually gonna still plant some cabbage and broccoli. I'm gonna try to prep 3 beds that will finish out our, well, 2 beds, there's 1 partially prepped, that will finish out our early garden planting. So now I'm raking up this pile of sawdust that I put here to keep it out of this bed over here. A lot of you all thought I was doing something crazy or stupid by putting sawdust in my garden. And yes, it does mat down some when you put it thick, like in this area I've driven over many times. But I will stand by my sawdust pile. It may tie up my nitrogen assets for a couple years, but I believe it's going to benefit me in the end. I will, however, take this because it is matting this area. It's too much in this area. This is where the pile was, and I'm going to use it as mulch on the soil surface, to reassure you, as mulch, at least over here around raspberries. Back to these beds, loosening the soil, and then I'm going to take the paths, put them on the beds for the very last time, and these will be permanent beds, no more pigs tearing up the garden. The baby was sleeping on my back, but Now he's awake and now he's tired of sitting on my back. Whew. That's some good exercise. This is just your favorite place, isn't it? Playing in the dirt. Ooh, can you throw that rock? That's a nice rock. Good throw. Get all those rocks, buddies. I want this bucket full. You've got 30 minutes till lunch. Get it completely full, okay? It's lunchtime. It's a beautiful shepherd's pie with cauliflower on top instead of potatoes.
I wish I'd thought to use potatoes, because if I had, the whole dish would have been from our farm.
Except for the ketchup.
Except for the ketchup. I went to the farm store and I splurged. I bought a garden gate. It's a 4-foot gate and it's got this like 2x4 wire on it to keep the ducks out. We've got these 3 beds roughed out. I went to the store to get some straw and we'll spread that down and we'll be close to having these beds ready. All right, the straw is done. I'm gonna rake these beds out, get them flattened out. This is a farm-sized Agrabah dispenser. Pull it all the way out here. Moira of Sweden. Here's the fork. What?
It's my weeding tool. It's
Garden utensils in the garden, kitchen utensils in the garden again. You have a history now of deviant behavior in the garden.
I feel like this works better for just weeding in between these lettuces than anything else.
You were using a serving spoon last week.
I know. It worked really good too.
Let me give you a scientific explanation of why we are covering our broccoli and cabbage. They're small white moths. Their babies are caterpillars. And they eat your broccoli and cabbage. I have no idea what I'm planting here. None of this is marked. I believe it's cabbage and purple cabbage. I just know we have some broccoli and some cabbage. Let's plant this bed, get it covered, and then it's supper time. We'll do those 2 beds on another day. Hey, how far apart do you plant cabbage? A foot? Okay, it's not a big cabbage. Brianna always says that she's not very funny, but you know what she just said? She said, now we're real gardeners. I think that's pretty funny. Well, folks, it's been another great day on the homestead. I have been privileged to spend so many hours in the garden. I hope you have a great rest of your day as I plan to. Bye-bye.